we should ask ourselves a question. How is it that these guys are getting information ahead of force, ahead of the military, ahead of the police, ahead of this both tactical and strategic operations? The recent one was the abduction of a general, a brigadier general. You know, it shouldn't happen in a country like this.
Security stability in Nigeria requires a multi-pronged approach, including economic empowerment through improved governance and security sector reform, job creation, alongside strategic regional cooperation and community engagement. These include investing in human capital, strengthening public services, addressing economic grievances, and fostering collaboration between security agencies and civil society. Just last week, at least 38 worshippers were adopted in Kwara State, and 51 out of the missing students at the Catholic school in Niger State were also adopted, although they were rescued and recovered earlier this week, but no report about the terrorists at the time of the rescue mission. So the question is, where are the adopters often not brought to book? Meanwhile, in the last 3 weeks, Nigeria has been the center of discussion on concerns of security and stability, with increasing threat of terrorism and banditry across the Northwest, North Central, and Northeastern region. Last week, the United States Congress held a special session to discuss the designation of Nigeria as the country of a particular concern. Hello, it's WebTV Focus program. Welcome, I am Gabriel Jude from Lagos, Nigeria. And today we shall be discussing options for security and stability in Nigeria. And my guest is Mr. Michael Boniface, a security consultant. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Right, so before we commence the program properly, let's have some comment from Nigerians, and we'll be right back.
Security starts from home. So we need to secure our house. So we need to secure our community. So after that, we can secure our country.
I believe it's not only about government, it's about all of us. Because these people that we call terrorists or we call bandits, they are living with some people in some communities. They know them, but they hide them. So if all of us can come together and then let us identify these people and expose them. If you can expose them, not minding that maybe these people are relatives, they are friends, or they belong to the same religion we practice, then we will expose them, and then these people will be, this bandit issue will be nip in the bud. Because I believe that even if government is a bit far away from where these people are operating, but the people that are with them, they know them and they know how to capture these people. But it's like maybe political issue or religious matter, I don't know.
We should start from us as individuals. If we see any strange movement in our environment, I think we should report to the security agent, like the police and all these vigilante group stuff like that. Then our leaders too, they have a lot of work to do, especially from the northern part of the country, because I mean they have not taken that insecurity now in the country as a means or right of enriching their pockets. Imagine if someone like that gumi of a thing, imagine be roaming, the country called Nigeria freely, telling us that the bandits are their brothers. Honestly, the man should be arrested. He should be called to question. Honestly, I don't know why the man should just be left like that. Nothing is done. Based on what the information I got now, that the man is no longer in the country. I wouldn't know how far it is true. But now, look at Nnamdi Kanu. He was fighting for the freedom. Look, I'm not an Igbo man anyway. I'm from Ondo State, a pure Yoruba man. But look at Nnamdi Kanu now, fighting for the the participation of his people. Now, he was, being, sentenced to life imprisonment. For what? This is nothing but injustice. Honestly, the right thing needs to be done. If right things are not done in Nigeria here, the situation of the country will continue to get worse and worse and worse every day.
As per individual, we just have to be very, very careful and be watchful. You understand? Because everybody has their friends, and we have people around. You have to watch people closely, look at the way they move, the things they do. So when you see anything suspicious about people, you quickly inform the authorities.
All hands must be on deck. They must fight those people, their sponsorer, they must be brought to book. Because if there's, they are saying, okay, we want to, eradicate insecurity today, do that one tomorrow, without those their sponsors being brought to book, definitely this situation of the country will continue to be like this. Now, imagine, there was something I watched in the social media. They said, that should be in Castina. They invited, what's it called, the bandits. They had meetings with them, and those ones that are on bike. I saw it on social media. You know these people are the problem of the country, and you are inviting them. You come and to come and negotiate with them. People that they need to be got arrested.
Because anytime I hear about giving terrorists amnesty, I don't understand. How can some people who have killed many people, then they are captured, the next thing for you to say is that you want to rehabilitate them. Then you now you give them new clothes, new food, you give them food, you fill them and all that. You don't give them money or give them job. I even heard that some of them were even be listed on Nigerian military or navy or something like that. For what now? Some of them that were released in the name of amnesty, we heard that some of them had gone back to the forest to go and join their people. Anybody that is captured should either jail, life imprisonment, or they should be sentenced to death. If they do this, I believe this thing will end in Nigeria.
I believe in this country we have authorities, and we have the government who could handle the situation. There are reasons why we have the armed forces in Nigeria. So I think if they should come together, they have the best solution to insecurity problems in the country.
Right. So that was very, very critical. A lot of issues were unpacked there in that video, and we are going to talk more about what those people said. But then let's start with this: that the Nigerian Senate last week Tuesday, demanded an immediate recruitment of at least 100,000 security personnel. And also in order to curb the worsening insecurity. So do you think that this will deal with the issue on ground? And again, how can we change the approach of recruiting personnel?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. Yes, it's actually a good move because currently we have very gross inadequate manpower when it comes to this military and police strength. But again, beyond recruitment, it is how the next question we should be asking ourselves is how do we go about this recruitment? Because even if you recruit the entire Nigerian youth into the system, but the process is not well done, it's not thorough, it's not refined, it's not coordinated, you end up recruiting saboteurs into the system. Just like one of the your online speaker said, this is a country where you arrest bandits, criminals, terrorists, and then you say you want to reintegrate them, rehabilitate them, and reintegrate them into the security formation. It's totally wrong. And that's why today you see that there's no security plan, no operational plan that these guys will not intercept. We should ask ourselves a question. How is it that these guys are getting information ahead of us, ahead of the military, ahead of the police, ahead of this both tactical and strategic operations? The recent one was the abduction of a brigadier general. It shouldn't happen in a country like this. We know the might of our military. We know our military might, ideally. We know what they could do. But, there are some saboteurs. Something is happening. And the reason might not be far unconnected with the reintegration or recruitment of ex-bandits, so to say, into the military formation. So military recruitment is good. Adequate manpower is good because we are vast, we are much in number as a country. We need adequate policing, adequate security personnel. However, this should be done thoroughly. There should be a thorough background check. There should be some criteria that should be met before one is enlisted into the military. And on no account should terrorists called repentant be integrated into the military or the police. Now, for instance, I was telling somebody recently that for instance, check a theory called social control theory. What that theory is saying is that if somebody that has a social inclination, you are bonded with social groups. You are a church member. You belong to a church group, and or a mosque, or you have a family members you associate with. You have some school friends and all of that. Now, peer groups. You tend to think twice before taking to crime. Because you have people to hold you to hold you accountable. You want to take to crime. That theory says that you ask yourself a question: what will my pastor say? What will my mom say? What will my colleague in school? What would they say? So what I'm trying to say is that there must be set criteria. You must come from a family background. We must know the institutions you've attended. We must know your community, what your role is in the community. Are you a deviant or what have you? If all of these are put in place before recruitment, I tell you, we'll get it right. You see, these guys, some of these bandits today are the product of Alimajiris, and we all know because. And this is a thing that shouldn't be heard of in this contemporary age. So every child should be in school. Nobody should be given birth to and sent away from the family. With that, anybody could deceive them with just 3 square meals, and then they would take to whatever.
Let's talk about strengthening, synergy among our security agencies. The Nigerian military, defense headquarters, armed air force, navy, Nigerian police, Nigerian security and civil defense corps. So it looks like some people are meant to be in the bush. Some people are meant to be, because when we talk about security in Nigeria in terms of insecurity dealings, people point out at the army, the Nigerian army. So we left out the Navy, we left out the Air Force, and then you begin to see most of them carrying fires in the city. And then it looks like some of them are saying, Army, you are the one who is responsible for this thing. You are supposed to be in the bush, and we will be the city uniform personnel.
So, okay, thank you very much. So ideally, this internal insecurity is not actually meant for the military. Internal insecurity or security is supposed to be for the police. So having military at the forefront today shows that we've missed it. Something is wrong. Military is supposed to position itself, against external aggression. And so they keep researching, they keep monitoring, they keep surveilling, they keep ensuring that no external aggression against the country. So this current internal insecurity is actually supposed to be the police call. But today you see that police is overwhelmed, and that's why you have the.
Is it a different form of police? Because I don't know. Do we have some form of police that are particularly meant for that? Because we've seen a lot of issues where
police is saddled with the internal security responsibility. Okay, we have the same police, although you have different wings. You have the mobile police, the anti-robbery, and all of that. But when it comes to any internal insecurity like this, they coordinate and all of them go there. Although they are still involved, but what we're saying is that they are overwhelmed, and we shouldn't allow it to get to this point. Now, there should be, you talked about synergy. Definitely, there should be synergy. In fact, all security agencies should have a fusion center, a centralized fusion center where information is disposed there, and then refined and made intelligence, and then act upon. But again, what we have today is actually rivalry. You can't shy away from it. There are a lot of interagency rivalry. Even among the police, the military, the DSS, everybody wants to take the glory. So you have your intelligence, you keep it to yourself. And then somebody else needs to go get his own intelligence to work on. We should have a centralized fusion center, command center, where if information is processed into intelligence and then acted upon. Most of these attacks recently, although DSS really, we must commend them, they are trying recently, they dish out intelligence. But again, another question is, are these intelligence being acted upon? Or and if they're not acted upon, is it because you're not your agency is not the one that got the intelligence? All the agencies have their intelligence unit, yes, but there must be a centralized intelligence department. We have, but how effective are this? How effective it is?
So are you saying that policemen, Nigerian police force should go to the forefront of this insecurity? Let's deal with it, and so that will stop all of because I'm seeing them, so that will stop checking the cars on the road.
Thank you very much. That is what it should be. Before now, there has been a misplaced priority. You see young people, even some so-called touts in the environment going about with police protection. These guys are supposed to protect the general public. Today, we have about 3,500 civilians to one police, which is against the UN standard of policing now. But thank God the president has just issued a statement or directive yesterday for police to be, drafted to the forefront of this insecurity so that they could nip it at the bud. Because some local communities, in fact, in my local government, we have just one police station, major police station. The rest you could see is police posts where you have two men. These guys should just easily be overrun and then their rifles taken. So these are issues we're having. In fact, some of this equipment, weapons of war that these guys are using, they got it from our security agencies, because you can't deploy just two policemen in a post and expect anything not to happen. They could overrun them. So what we're trying to do, what we're saying in essence is that let's commend the president. He has ordered a directive. We hope that the directive will actually be taken seriously and be acted upon. Let us police be withdrawn from whoever VIP or whatever to protect the entire populace. Because if the general security is stable, there will be no need for you to go about with police.
Let's talk about some issues before, if we have time, and we will dive into other things. So your expertise perspective in terms of partnership with other, international communities like United States, UK, EU, for intelligence, military, intelligence and all of that. What's your take in building the security architecture for Nigeria?
Yes, there's nothing bad in partnership. U.S. recently, U.S. president recently has offered to come to rescue. To come to our rescue. Okay, and what he said, after the statement, there were a lot of controversies here and there and all of that. But the issue is that the guy said he's coming to take out the terrorists. He's not coming to fight war against us. So, and my advice to the Nigerian government is that, partner with these guys. Before now, we've been hearing issues about partnership and all of that. Partner with these guys and then ensure that you work with them closely and ensure that this threat, this menace is taken out.
So what will happen to the issue of clamoring for we are sovereign country, we are sovereign states and all of that?
No, being sovereign also means being able to protect your people. So, sovereignty does not give you liberty for this type of gross insecurity. Okay, we're sovereign, but they have the right to come to our aid.
So now let's talk about. I know you started talking about the Nigerian police force, and so there are issues raised recently about state policing. Okay. Do you think that Nigeria needs state policing?
Thank you very much. So the issue of state policing, has been overflowed, at different quarters. But the truth of the matter is that state policing is what will help these are current issues. Now, what that means is that you have a localized policing framework. What that means, because currently what we have now is that somebody from the north, from Bauchi, that does not understand Yoruba, could be posted to Osun State, okay, even to lead operation in Osun. And now, whereas maybe threat actors are even with him, discussing about him, discussing how to attack, he wouldn't understand. Okay, so when you localize policing, and currently I'm conducting a research on this issue of state policing using Amotekun as a case study. Now you discover that since if you go into the success rate of that Amatekun has achieved, you'll be marveled. They have achieved a lot of successes. And why? Because they are the locals. They understand these things. You remember the time of OPC, Bakassi, even though they have some excesses, at some point they will swear an oath that nobody should give out information. That cannot be done in this JTF, whatever, civilian JTF activities with the military and the police. Okay, so with that, they nip insecurity in the bud. Before it even happened, they get intelligence and they nip it. So the structure should be that there should be a state police, which will be a subset of the overall conventional police, all right? And then whatever they do, they are accountable to the conventional police. They don't act in isolation. And some sort of people have also raised concern on whether the political elite will use them and all of that against the masses or against opponents and all of that. Yes, even with this current policing dispensation framework, something like that is still ongoing. So what will happen is that the legislature will put in place frameworks to guide their operations. And that will help us, a lot.
Okay, so I want us to go back a bit. From my introduction, I talked about, the adopted school children and also the worshippers that were adopted. And we've seen the president release talking about they were rescued and recovered.
Okay.
So I want to ask, and this is a concern for me.
Okay.
For a long time, we often seen people adopt and are brought back, but we've never heard of, these are the terrorists that were involved, or maybe there is a combat between the security agencies, the security men with those terrorists. We never heard anything about. And this particular one happened during the weekend. Now, how was the operation being carried out?
Yeah. Okay. So I want to believe that currently in the media, in the news, there is no such news or information as to the modus operandi, of the operation. But one thing I want to tell you is that sometimes these type of operations dimensions are not discussed publicly. But again, we've also seen where government officials have negotiated the release of abducted persons. We wouldn't know if this is the case because anyway, it shouldn't be heard of us that we're negotiating with ransom before we really. We're all here when the U.S. came to rescue their citizens, and then their citizens here in Nigeria in the north, and then they got the citizen, neutralized the threat actors, went before informing the Nigerian government. So we could actually do it. But again, when lives are involved, you wouldn't rule out any option that's available. Whether it's negotiation, let's just get the people out first, and then let's go after the people.
So don't you think that this is a concern? Because we have seen cases where people were recovered, were rescued. The perpetrators, the terrorists were not brought to book. And then subsequently, maybe a few weeks later, there is another attack. It looks like there is this relocation.
Yeah, this is a major issue we are discussing. It's a problem. Negotiation should not be done, should not be heard, But sometimes we do it in Nigeria, which is not supposed to be. These guys, just 25 people were released. How about the rest of the people? I believe that perhaps that's why the modus operandi have not been, told the public. But yes, but again, what should be done is that there are a lot of technologies that could be used to track these guys to get them arrested. We don't have. If you say we have ungoverned spaces in the core north, I don't think we have such ungoverned spaces in the middle belt, in Kwara, for instance. Katsina, fine. Niger, we could. But again, what do you call ungoverned space? And we call ourselves a sovereign state. We should ensure that no space is left ungoverned. So with this, it will help us, our operations. It will help us nip. I was telling somebody that even all these ungoverned spaces people are talking about, no land in Nigeria that is not owned by a person. I'm not sure that there is any land in Nigeria, apart from government forest reserves, that is not owned by in your state now. Can you go into any forest and say, this is my forest, I just discovered this forest, let me carve it for myself? It's not possible. So even these ungoverned spaces is also relative, So government needs to do a lot, and there must be political will, there must be the boldness. Okay, because some of these sponsors, sometimes we've seen publications about sponsors and all of that. What has been done? Have they been queried? Have they been interviewed? Has anything been done to this set of guys? So there must be political will, there must be boldness, there must be courage to take this up head on.
So let's talk about a lot of things unfold during the weekend, also with the president having a meeting with the service chiefs, apart from withdrawing policemen following the high-profile people around, so to say. Is this a way of, trying to curb this? What have you seen within this parameter?
Yes, you see, for me, at this point, whatever strategy will work is what we should adopt. Okay? I mean, having a meeting with the service chief is the best thing to do it should be regular, even on a weekly basis. Get security briefing from these guys, and the briefing should also tell you how they are coordinating to fight this battle together, how they're working together in synergy to get this out of our society. Okay, so whatever strategy that will work is what should be adopted. I mean, we talked about synergy, partnership, even international partnership, as far as it will help us today, because there's no man is an island of anything, whether power, whether knowledge, whether resources, or what have you. Where you have limitation, call for help. If you know you cannot help yourself, even though we know we have the might, we have our ability to do it, there are a lot of things. So let us get help, wherever help is coming from.
Right. So as we wrap up, what would be your submission for robust national security at this time?
Yeah, a submission there are a lot of components that should come together to form a robust national security. Number one, education. If you want to get your people out of insecurity, you must, support education. The reason we've alluded some of these reasons to the issue of Albajiris. These guys were out of schools, guys. And then sometimes somebody will now call you to say, come, I can give you 3 square meal, even give you some amount of money. And because you have nothing to lose. I just referenced the social control theory. You have nothing to lose. So education first, and then the political will, and even the recruitment process is also very critical. And we should prioritize recruiting adequate manpower, to ensure that everybody in this country is policed accordingly. Not that the policing should be led for some few privileged people. And then critical assets like banks, like government infrastructures should also be prioritized in the security architecture, or in the protection. So, for us to maintain a robust security profile in this country, it has to come with a holistic approach with a determined and a bold step by the government.
Lastly, quickly, the issue with withdrawing policemen, so they should face their duty. What do you think should be prioritized for them? Because these people, let me just say that, sometimes when you are out of something for a long time or for some time, you tend to reduce from the application and the operation. So what are your suggestion as for the government to do for these people to get back to their feet as to their core job?
Yeah, the most important thing is to empower them, give them what they require. They require them tools. Don't give them outdated weapons, because they are going out there to fight a war that is not a conventional war. So give them weapons adequately, not outdated weapons, because what these guys are carrying, what these threat actors are carrying, you all see it on social media. What they are carrying is sophisticated. You can't give somebody AK-47 to go and face somebody with a rocket propelled launcher, grenade, and all of these ballistic weapons here and there. So this must be prioritized. They are going there, they need to be retrained. I know police guys that have never been armed throughout their service years. Yes, they've never. If one told me that any day they post him to where he will be armed, he will resign. And they are meant to be armed. So they need a retraining for all of them, reorientation, and then they must boost their morale. There are a lot of things should be done for them. Their pension should be taken into consideration. Recently, we were hearing noises about police pension being reduced and all, and here. And these are morale issues. If you don't build their morale, that if they die for you as a country, their family will be taken care of. Even their children will be taken care of. They have no cause to regret anything. But when somebody feels if he dies, what will happen to his family? He will tend not to die. He will run for his dear life. So you must prioritize their well-being, their welfare, And then the barracks, recently, some of them are, as we speak today, if you get a not uncomplained building and tell police to come and stay, they will be begging you to come and stay. They don't have where to stay. And you ask them to be moving. Sometimes in Lagos, I think is the former governor, one of the former governors, in Bamara or so, gave a directive that police all security personnel shouldn't pay for transportation. It was strategic because you call Lagos has a traffic peculiarity. I call the police from point A to point B, and he has to wait for vehicle to pay. So let him jump into the available vehicle to go and rescue people. But today, the stuff is watered down. The government should look at these things. These are our people. You see, the way security personnel are celebrated abroad is how we should celebrate our own people too here. Celebrate them. Give them that respect. If not for insecurity today that you are skeptical of lifting personnel, you're going on the road, you be happy to lift them because you don't even know whether they have an emergency somewhere. So these are issues.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on this program. But, Nigerian Army, where would they be now? Since police should be internal.
Yeah, Nigerian Army will render a complementary role. And in this case, currently, the war is still very hot. So I believe they will not withdraw. They will just have to form a joint task force with the police. Yeah, not really. We have custom, we have immigration at the border. So there should be a joint task force, which we have currently. So it will be more strengthened with adequate manpower. Imagine the attack that happened last week, against our personnel. You discover that the guys overwhelmed them, both with superior firepower and superior and superior numbers of personnel. So these are what we should also guide against, so that we have adequate men, we have adequate equipment to use against them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that enlightening conversation.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And now let me conclude. Security is a national concern in Nigeria and is vital for stability. It must be prioritized for collective national development and shared prosperity. And that will be all for this edition of WebTV Focus program. For more information and knowledge on finance, the market, banking, the economy, and investing, please visit the ProShare website, WebTV YouTube, and follow our social media platform displayed on the screen. More so, if you have any concerns or questions about what we do here, please do put them in the comment section, as will be appreciated. Thanks everyone for watching. I am Gabriel Jude. Have a great day and bye for now.